let's end this on a high epic note.
Okay.
Pharmacy benefit managers for health insurance.
Oh yeah, you've been talking about this for a while.
Bro,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm interested.
This is, all right, I would say this is on the surface going to sound very uninteresting, and it's actually kind of wild. So as I was looking up our future 2028 president, Mark Cuban, and his company,
What the fuck happened to me?
Cost Plus Drugs.
You're wearing an Aiden 28 shirt.
When is-
All right, I just
You
think...
leaving me behind?
No, I told you we have to split the vote. Cuban's going to take a third of the vote. Republicans will take a third of the vote. You take 34%, and we take a lemonade party.
Yeah,
of the
Doug's
top.
Doug's like, no, honey, that's not. Don't even worry
I
about
don't
it.
even like her like that. Like it's
Mark Cuban and I are friends, okay?
friends.
We've been getting, we hang out a lot at work, yeah. But, so, and I'm going to be home late tonight, by the way.
Okay. Okay. All right.
All right. So, in the various research I've done about healthcare and insurance and costs and all this stuff that we've done over the last 6 months, one of the things I've come back to is like, why the fuck are drugs so expensive in this country, right? And one of the things that people come back to a lot, or that gets mentioned, is PBMs, or pharmacy benefit managers, which I had never heard of before
Okay.
this. Normally, people think of insurance companies are the reasons why it's so high, the drug manufacturers and profit and all this stuff. But when you hear people talk about the health insurance industry, many of them will say the real problem is the pharmacy benefit managers. Mark Cuban talks about this.
are these
He says,
middlemen. These are like
yes,
okay.
but in a weird way. RFK Jr. said that PBMs are the main problem. And the reason he thinks, for everybody who remembers several months ago when they made an executive order to lower prices for America, the reason RFK was like, we think we can actually do this is because now people don't have to go through PBMs. So here's what it is. Let's say I make a drug that helps with Alzheimer's or something, okay?
Okay.
Or balding hair, okay?
Mine would be Molly, but like 3 times better.
Okay. We make lemon Molly, okay?
Yeah.
So I make lemon Molly.
3X Molly.
And it helps your baldness and you feel great at the same time.
And it cures baldness.
And it cures baldness.
Because we do need that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's great for raves because you're
Great
going to
for
look good
raves,
and
you
feel
got
good.
You got a head full of
Yeah.
hair at that rave.
It is extremely rapid. It's like bamboo rate. Like it's within an hour. So I create this
would
drug
sell.
and I want to sell it for, let's say, $100. Okay?
Okay.
So what you would normally think of is I go to, let's say a pharmacy or a CVS or whatever, and I say, hey, will you guys will you stock this? I'll sell you a bunch of my drug. You guys can sell it for $100. I'm selling it to you for $100 so you can do profit with it. That's how it would work, except with insurance, most people in America are insured. And so most people are not going to buy my drug unless it's covered by their insurance.
Right.
Right. So if I'm trying to convince you to buy it, you'll only buy it if it's actually insured.
You got to be my plan.
So instead of going to the pharmacies directly, I go to your insurance. I go to one of the big insurance companies and I say, hey, I'm putting this new drug on the market. Can you guys add it to your formulary, your list of stuff that you cover? And they say, talk to our pharmacy benefit manager. Pharmacy benefit managers are a new middleman that have appeared the last couple of decades and grown in power substantially. And their role, let's say you're a PBM. I go to you and I'm like, okay, hey, I want to sell you my drug. It's really cool. It makes you feel great. Gives you hair. $100. Now you are representing the insurance companies, and your whole thing is you want to get a giant.
Mr. Kaiser, get a load of this.
Okay, yeah. So this is what you do. You go to Kaiser and you say, look, all right, we got this new drug. And so what would be really sick for you as a middleman? It would be to go to Kaiser and say, I'm getting you a 70% discount on this. Okay, we're gonna get the drug. We're gonna buy it from this stuff. You guys are gonna cover it, and I'm getting a promise from them, the drug manufacturer, to get a 70% rebate. Okay,
That
let's
sounds
even
great.
knock it out. Say 50%. All right, so you come to me and say, we'll only stock it if you give a 50% rebate. You got to give that back. Okay, what would I do in this scenario? I would double the price of my product. So the idea is, I sell the drug.
Wait, I'm the pharmacy benefit manager.
Yeah.
Does you doubling the price and not matter to me? All I care about is the rebate and the optics of that to my boss.
So what you are trying to do is you're trying to go to the insurance company, your client, and say, hey, we got you this great deal in these drugs.
Yeah.
Okay. Doug's trying to sell it for all this money, but we're going to get you a 50% rebate on it. You'll get 50% of the money back.
I
Okay?
know, 50% of the money back, and it makes it 3 times. 3
Three
times.
times better than Molly. I know you do a lot of, Mr. Kaiser, you do a lot of Molly. This is going to save you.
Mr. Kaiser, I know you do a ton of Molly.
So
And you've been
your
looking a little chrome
your
dome.
incentive is just to get as big of a rebate as possible because then it looks really good to the client.
Okay, I see, yeah.
So that's your only incentive. you also get a fee percentage based on the cost of the drug.
You gotta wet your beak.
Of course. Why would I not be getting a fee?
All right,
He's gotta
so
wet his beak.
I made this drug. I want to sell it for $100. You come to me, you say, we're only going to buy it if you give us a 50% rebate. All right, you got to give us 50%.
So now it's a $200 drug.
What I'm going to do is sell it for $200,
Right.
and then I give you $100 back later.
Right.
The pricing has not really changed. I still make the same amount, but then this money is flowing through you to the insurance company to make it the insurance company appear to have made a bunch of savings, right? Basically all appearances. It doesn't really make a difference. But what's actually going on here? Okay, well now I'm putting my drug onto market for $200. If you're not insured, the price now doubled. This is like on the low end, okay? Not only that, you get a percentage as a PBM of profit from the total price of the drug. So if you can get this price to go up
You
even more,
want you to double it.
you want it to go
jack
way
it
up.
up.
Everybody wants you to
If
jack
you-
it
if
up.
you
You want to
convince-
jack it up, he wants you to jack it up.
If you convince me to jack up the price,
We're all jacking it
We're all
up.
jacking.
we're jacking.
We're all on Molly and we're all jacking. That's all.
Doug, I'm going to be honest with you. This sounds fucking awesome.
Right.
So far.
Okay. So from our perspectives, you, me, and the insurance company. Okay, what's going on? I want to make $100, so I'm going to sell it for $200. You want to get a rebate for 50%. I give the 100 back to you. You take part of that. The insurance company has to only buy it for $100.
Yeah.
Everybody wins except for the patient because anybody who isn't insured has to buy it for a higher price.
Wait, okay, I got a
this
question.
is where,
Yeah.
okay, hold on. I think I broke the analogy slightly by making it 3x Molly that also gives back your hair. Because ultimately that's, consumers don't really need that. But in most
Speak for yourself.
in most circumstances, this is going to be some type of necessary, perhaps life-saving medication that the end user doesn't really have a choice in whether they need to take or not.
I mean, yes or no. There's
So we
plenty
can
of drugs
kind
that
of,
aren't
because in
critical.
any normal market, we couldn't freely jack up the price in this way because it's, if it was just a consumer good, the person at the end of the line could just be like, well, I'm not going to fucking buy it. But now in this case, because it's pharmaceuticals, the end user pretty much has to get it if they need it.
Yeah, there's much more stickiness to them being forced to buy this thing. So then you go to the pharmacy and they're like, hey, this pill you're buying, this is $1,500, but you only have to pay $20. Have you ever wondered, why the fuck is this happening? It's because, it doesn't cost them anywhere remotely close to $1,500, but every chain in the healthcare system, everybody jacks the prices up. They all get percentages of the fees, and everybody is rebating these discounts to each other.
They're all jagging. All the
Everyone's
prices, the fees
jacking.
are
There's
coming
fees
from
going
different
left and right and
directions.
center.
And this is why
it's a fee orgy.
Yeah. If you've ever seen people online be like, I saw this recently. Somebody said, I was charged $30,000 to give birth at a hospital. And I told them, I'm not insured. This is unbelievable. We can't afford to pay this. And they say, oh, if you're uninsured, we have a rate of $4,000. And they were like, why would you charge $30,000 to begin with? Because this is how the system works. At every stage, there are these middlemen who basically say, okay, you increase your price. I'll give a discount back to you. We all get middlemen fees in the meantime. And it all sort of evens out. The problem is that the list price just keeps going up and up and up at each stage of this. If you're uninsured, you're completely fucked because then you have to pay these things. And then on top of that, the insurance companies are also fine with the prices going up because then they can have a percentage of the they can have a percentage of the cost go to the client, to the customer, to the patient, right? And so they can say, look, we as an insurance company, we're covering 95% of the cost of the drug. You just got to cover 5%.
Interesting, but much
it's
of their costs coming out of rebate.
Right. It's massively inflated. Not only this, all of this PBM stuff is completely opaque. There's no publicity around any of it.
Interesting.
That's good.
No one knows if a drug is on market for $2,000. You have no idea how much the insurance company is actually paying for that. What's probably going on is they pay $2,000 in quotes, and then all these rebates flow around where they only actually pay, say, $100 or $50, right?
Right.
So everything gets massively inflated.
But
Everybody's
then
taking
you
fees.
pay what, 5%?
Yeah, if you say 5% of 2,000, that's $100.
You're paying
right?
$100.
It's like, oh, well, that's a great
So
deal
we
for you.
covered 95,
Right.
but they paid almost nothing on their end.
So the insurance companies,
Interesting.
everybody is happy with the price going up.
Except
Wait a minute. Are
the
you fucking
patient.
telling me that American healthcare is bad?
God, dude.
Are you trying to get to the... Because that's a fucking lie. I'll tell you.
And one of the things as I was thinking about this is like, okay, these pharmacy benefit managers, they are basically making everybody inflate what's going on. This is true of like all major pharmaceutical. Apparently, these are ridiculously influential. There's 3 giant ones that basically control all this stuff. Nobody has any idea what they do, but they are part of public companies. For example, CVS has one, and they make, because they're public companies, they make billions in profit a year. So just the middleman fees from the pharmacy benefit managers makes billions of dollars in fees. That means
I
that
don't know.
the
It's
amount
like-
of profit.
You balance it out with like the deodorant that's getting stolen every year, and it's I think it probably comes out dead even.
Probably comes out even in the wash.
I always felt bad for CVS because, like, man, it seems like you guys are struggling, and I realized they're just these middlemen.
You felt
in the
bad
system.
for CVS?
I like go into stores and I'm just like, how are you guys afloat? It just feels very sad in a lot of CVSs.
all right.
And a lot of them, shut down and whatnot. I'm like, and now that I've realized what's going on, which is these pharmacy benefit managers just jacking things up insanely. One of the examples I saw for Mark Cuban said this. He's like, so his whole thing with cost plus drugs is they're not negotiating with PBMs at all. They're not negotiating with insurance at all. They're just making drugs at the lowest cost. They had a 15% margin and that's it. And that's the promise. That's why it's so much cheaper. And one of the examples of how much of a difference his system versus all of the people doing these markups and all these middlemen and PBMs is he has a drug that sells for $22. It's a chemotherapy drug, and on the market it sells for $2,000.
That's wild.
So
But obviously, he's the cheap version. I want the $2,000 one in my body.
yeah,
That's-
I like the brand
I want
quality.
the brand
I want
quality.
the brand
I'm
quality.
not buying off-brand Dove soap. I want the fucking real stuff.
So it's just this shit is.
There's a knock-on
wild, man.
effect
I
to
have
this.
My last page of notes is just one line. And it says they are blood-sucking parasites.
Hold on.
I'm pretty. I got pretty.
It's the
annoyed with
villain
shit.
back.
But the shareholder value, it's exploded, dog.
You're not going to win this election. You are not going to win this
Billions
election.
in profit.
There's
man.
not one person in Rhode Island that's going to vote for the guy twirling his mustache. But the
We don't need-
shareholder value.
We need 280,000 people.
There's
okay?
not enough. There's
we,
not enough.
we can have 280,000 crazy people.
Okay, look, I have heard about this before, and I've talked to talk to people that are doctors or like in other parts of the medical industry about how they feel about this system becoming so pervasive.
Right.
And I've never heard anything good about it ever. The only plus is like, yeah, well, some of these guys are making buttloads of money.
Yeah.
And then, but that's it. That is it.
They're making a ton of money.
I'll give you an upside. I'll give you a villain
I
share.
tried to steal
Okay.
man and I got nothing, man.
I got to
I
steal
really
that for
try.
you. So the list price of these drugs is what is, GDP is calculated on goods and services moving in America.
Okay.
The list price of these drugs is what goes into the GDP calculation.
Okay.
Which is why among all developed countries, we have the highest percent of our GDP spent on quote unquote healthcare.
Let's go.
So in fact, in a country that is
Number one.
only getting less than 2% growth, a large part of that is just way marked up drugs being shuffled left and right around through
So
insurance
you're
companies.
telling me that if I sold my drug instead of $100, which to be clear was my initial idea,
Yeah.
through all these middlemen and negotiatings, we're all like, wait, let's just jack this up. Let's jack this up more.
Jack it up 20 times.
We sell for $10,000.
Yeah.
That's just 10. That's 100 times the GDP.
You've increased the GDP by that much.
Have we considered using this to solve the debt? Does this fix the debt?
This is it's actually, if you read the book we're reading right now,
Yeah.
it's How Countries Go Broke, he talks about this. He's
How
like, this
much-
is why debt to GDP is bad.
How much do we need to increase the drugs?
I might
Okay?
have a different copy of the book because I'm reading How Countries Go Broke and it's just one page and it says they went woke. And
Yeah, that's true.
and
that's
that
why
was
you
it.
finished so
That's
fast.
why I
That's why you
finished-
finished so
I'm
fast.
right there with me.
Okay, right. Well, if you want to continue jacking it up with us on the Patreon,